I demand to be put in a seat that is able to recline. A few years ago I was on a flight from LA to Singapore, takes 16+ hours. I'm a tall dude, around 6 feet 3 inches, tilde 190 centimeters, so I don't fit very well in economy class seats. On most planes my knees are often very close or right up against the seat in front of me. This makes it impossible for the person in front of me to recline their seat, which usually isn't a problem once the person in front of me sees how cramped I am in those tiny seats. However, for this particular flight, the man in front of me was not having it. He tried to recline his seat, but couldn't because my legs were there. He turns around and sees what's happening and asks me something along the lines of, "Do you mind letting me put my seat back?" I respond with, "I wish I could, but I physically can't. I'll do my best to give you as much space as I can, but it won't be much." At this point he starts to get angry and just starts pushing as hard as he can back on his seat. Needless to say, this was not particularly pleasant for me. I ask him to please stop, and he says, "I'll stop when I can put my seat back." I decide I'll just wait him out. He'll eventually get tired. After about 10 to 15 minutes of this, he calls a flight attendant over and proceeds to demand a new seat. The flight attendant tells him there are no available seats and he will have to deal with it. He demands to speak to the pilot. So the flight attendant goes up front to talk to the cockpit. Keep in mind that throughout this he is still pressing with all his might against my knees, with only short breaks to yell at the flight attendant. After a couple of minutes, the co-pilot, he wanted to speak to the pilot and wasn't happy about this, comes back and tries to explain to the man that he can't change seats because there are no other coach seats free. The man continues to demand a seat that is able to recline, "Give me an upgrade, this is unacceptable," making a scene, etc. The co-pilot finally gives in and says while looking at the man, "Sir, would you like to sit up in business class?" The man stands up and mutters something similar to, "Fucking finally," to which the co-pilot responds, "Sir, sit down. I wasn't talking to you." He turns to me and repeats, "How would you like a seat in business class?" I have, to this day, never seen someone as furious as the man as I walked past him to my new business class seat, with free drinks. The pilot made the right call. I hope to hell he had a butternut-eating grin while saying it and you two giggled all the way to business class.
The co-pilot kept his cool pretty well. I definitely had a banana-eating grin big enough for the both of us. Combined with the muffled laughter of the other passengers, it turned out pretty well. Also, happy cake day.
Does this guy think the pilot equals manager? Pilot is busy flying the plane, piss off. Planes are a nightmare for basically everyone, and it would be better if people like this were more considerate. I never recline because it barely does anything and potentially makes the person behind me more cramped. The fact that this dude really acted like you should have just popped off your kneecaps so he could have a meager 2-inch recline really rusts my pans. My fiance is 6 feet 9 inches and sends a virtual high five because you understand his pain and got the best revenge he's heard of.
At 6 feet 9 inches you might as well just take out the seat in front of you.
Sorry mom, of course your son can try the 7MSHU hot sauce. I work in the hot sauce store in a busy outlet mall. We're a well-liked locally owned business and have many loyal return customers, but at this particular location we also get a lot of tourists who are curious about our challenge items, or Hot Ones products. We have a large variety of samples available every day. Literally like 100 hot sauces, 50+ barbecue/wing sauces just out on the table, and we can pull another 50+ bottles or so from the fridge if one's open. Every so often we get people who come into the store and ask to try the hottest sauce. They love jalapenos in their burritos and have eaten habaneros straight, and they're ready to enter the ring, swallow some sauce and gain the admiration of a couple friends and bystanders at the cost of a stomach ache. We usually try to guide them to the 10th hottest sauce in the store, burn them with it, and move on to something mild or medium suited to their taste. Today, while I was selling items to people who were actually paying for things, a 10 or so year old boy enters the store. I always get wary when children enter the store alone because it is full of glass bottles. They usually dart straight for the shelves and pick something up, but this child came barreling towards me like a bullet. While I make change for the couple buying some sauce, he calls out to me, "Excuse me," in a horrendous whiny pitch. I ignore the rude interruption and continue my conversation with my customers. He parrots it again 12 times or so back to back as I thank these people and get them out of the store. Finally, I turn to him. "How can I help you?" "Where the butternut are this kid's parents." "Hi, can I try the hottest sauce in the store?" "Not this butternut again. I'm not dealing with this, not with a 10-year-old kid." I explain to him that the hottest sauce on the table is Hellboy, Right Hand of Doom. It's spiked with a 666 million Scoville extract, and honestly, if you're not experienced with this kind of stuff, more than just a tiny bit can really mess up a good part of your day. Take my word for it. I explain to him he has to be 19 years old to try it and sign a waiver, which is butternut, but I'm off in 30 minutes, so butternut this kid, and instead guide him to a tasty fermented habanero that he coughs his eyes out on before explaining to me that he could handle the Right Hand of Doom because his dad eats spicy peppers with him all the time. "Okay," I say. He leaves. Thank God. 15 minutes later I'm interrupted by another customer. This time a gigantic woman, in a blue blouse. She's sat next to my sample table like a giant blueberry, blocking up 20% of my floor space. "Excuse me. Apple doesn't fall far." The customers I'm with are polite and excuse me to speak to her. "You didn't let my son try the sauce." I explain to her that it has extract in it several hundreds times hotter than anything he has ever eaten and that it can cause him severe discomfort and that I will not let him try it in my store. I explain that she is free to purchase the sauce and have him try it at home if she so wishes. She explains to me that she married a Mexican man and that I wouldn't believe the things we ate in New Mexico City where he grew up. When I asked what they had eaten there, she told me things hotter than anything we have in the store. At this point her daughter interrupts our conversation. "I coconut you not, excuse me." "What?" I'm getting annoyed. I was annoyed from the second I saw the kid, and now he's back 20 minutes later with 3 of him. "Why do you sell Valentina? It's not even a hot sauce." Jesus Christ. "Aren't you from Mexico? It says zucchini salsa piquant on the goddamned bottle." It's 5:50, I'm off at 6. I've had enough. "How about this? You can try the sauce and if it's as mild as you think, I'll let him try it." She agreed and grabbed her sample stick. I reached for the Right Hand of Doom, and unscrewed the cap. Its nuclear aroma sending memories of aches to my stomach. As she goes to dip the stick into the sauce, I warn her to only take a small amount. She grins at me and dips the stick all the way into the sauce. Trap card, banana. She slaps it into her mouth. Immediately she looks uneasy before she throws herself into pure agony. She is coughing, swinging her head back and forth, trying desperately to speak, but she cannot muster any words. She dropped her sample stick in all the chaos. After a solid few minutes of coughing and dry heaving, she manages a single word: water. I explain to her that water won't help her now. My relief walks through the door just in time to witness the finish. She tells me that the only reason she is coughing is because it went down the wrong pipe. She then immediately vomits into our garbage can. She apologizes for spitting up like she didn't just rocket launch half a liter of chum into my trash can and then leaves without saying anything else. Tossed out the trash with a smile on my face and clocked out. I once went into a hot sauce store and wanted to try their hottest sauce. Luckily the guy there suggested that I work my way up to it and gave me some milder stuff first. Haven't done that since. That is beautiful, precisely the way to handle this kind of parent. It's unfortunate that her poor kids will likely acquire her destructive attitudes, but I'm glad you didn't make one of them suffer unnecessarily because of their poor upbringings. I love Reaper sauce on everything, but 6 mil sounds like something you use to clean cheesecake engine parts.
I think you mean melt engine parts. Smile.
I always listen to the hot sauce expert even though I am Mexican.
My BF is Latino. I'm part German, part Italian. I've been trying to find hotter sauces than 100,000 SHU cause it's the hottest I can find locally. My BF can't handle sriracha. It's adorable. By Latino, I mean his family has lived in southeastern Texas for 8 generations. There's more Mexican flags in his town than American. Edit 2, his sexuality is fury, his taste buds are not.
So,
I was half expecting the kid to pick up the stick she dropped and jam it his screaming maw.
Was told to actually read the policy. So I did. I work for an office and we have an 8-week busy season with mandatory overtime, 12 to 14 hours/day. During this time, the company agrees to reimburse us for dinner, up to $13/meal. We just have to submit a claim with our receipts at the end of the busy season. And NBSP, food options around my work aren't great, so I usually brought my dinner from home. But sometimes I was too tired to cook after a long day, so out of the 8 weeks, I purchased maybe 10 meals. 3 of those meals I spent $13.50, going $0.50 over the limit. This resulted in a whopping $1.50 overage, which my manager said it was no big deal and that I could include on my expense claim. He signed off on it and everything. And NBSP, a few days after I submitted my report, head office emailed me saying they rejected my expense claim and that I could resubmit after I removed the $1.50 overage. I wrote back saying my manager was fine with the $1.50 overage and even signed off on it, and they responded by telling me that they do not allow overages under any circumstances, that the $1.50 must be removed or they wouldn't approve any of my meal expenses. They ended their email with the advice that I should actually read the company policy next time. And NBSP, fine, they were right and I was wrong. So I decided I'd read the policy very thoroughly before redoing my expense claim. And NBSP, yes, the policy clearly stated $13/maximum on purchased meals. Oh, and what's this? The policy also allows a $10 per diem for meals you bring from home. And NBSP, I very happily removed the $1.50 overage and added an additional $300 for the 30 meals I brought from home. And NBSP, I should read the company policy more often. And NBSP, edit, thank you for the gold benevolent Redditor. It's my first time. And NBSP, some of you are asking if I got paid the $300 and the answer is yes. Many are suggesting the person was sincerely trying to help me out, but I'm not 100% sure because they were so snippy in their email. Also, when we were emailed the meal policy at the beginning of busy season, there was no mention of the per diem and no one else in my department knew about it. Either way, I made sure to thank them just in case they were being sincere and I was just too jaded to see it. I do the employee reimbursement at my company and I would be gleeful if someone came back with this. In my experience, if I have to make someone edit their report, it's because I literally cannot process the report through the system or if I will personally get in trouble for pushing something through. Good on you for using your resources.
Come to think of it, this was around the company fiscal year end, so I bet there was added pressure on them not to budge. Hopefully they got a kick out of it or learned they had some per diem dinners they could expense.
Great. Was there any place on the form to comment and thank them for helping you get $300?
Yes, there was, and I made sure to thank them.
Did you tell all your co-workers? That would really be malicious and beneficial for them.
Yes, I did, and they were very happy to hear it.
That is awesome way to get the money that is coming to you. Maybe they were trying to get you there without actually telling you.
Yes, that's possible. I did make sure to thank the person working my claim just in case.